make your team looks bad, makes your leagues bad. If a fight happens on or near the field, I get it. That has negative ramifications. I get it. You don't want that. That's not the look you want. But MSFA, it's over. We're week 10. Now you want to come in and start punishing people? Now you're trying to come in and ground somebody? Now you're trying to be the parent? Now you're trying to be the respectable league? Look, I'm not going to talk on specifics, but I'm sure there is tons of other times this season you could have said something. Whether it be on the field, off the field, the way organizations have ran, the way these forfeits have been handled, you could have stepped up and said, hey, I don't want that. That's not for my league. But you haven't.
Well,
and
they did that with the Canes a little bit.
You know what? I'm not going to get into that. I think the only reason anything was done, and I think that was more between the two teams. And once again, if the Spartans owner stepped up and said, hey, I don't want my team members acting like that, I'm going to bench him for a half, hey, that's cool. You run your organization how you run you. If the Titans said, you know what, that's not who we are, that's not how I want to be perceived, I'm going to sit out a quarter, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, that's fine. But for the league to just swoop in now and start handing out punishments, like, I don't know how many of y'all have kids. I don't have kids, but what I can imagine, it would be like if your kid brought home bad grades, you said nothing. If your kid got arrested for drugs, you said nothing. If your kid snuck out in the middle of the night and got in some trouble, you said nothing. But the moment he doesn't make his bed, or she doesn't make her bed or clean her room, now now they're grounded for a month. Like, no, you set up the expectation that you're not a very strict or reliable parent here. MSFA, you're that cool parent that works 9 jobs and you forget you even have a kid at times. Don't come in all of a sudden swinging the belt now. Playoff times are here, and you're wanting to do probably the least offendable thing that's occurred of any of the leagues, and now you're trying to come in swinging. I don't know. Like I said, I'm blind. I was trying to check my phone there, and I can't see. So that's just my take. I don't know much about it. I just heard some talk on some of the pages that now the MSFA wants to flex that muscle. You can't. You missed that boat. So moving on to the MSFA as well. One thing I wanted to talk, and I posted this on the page. Anybody who wants to run a league, this is where I think the MSFA messed up. Say what you want about the KFL, but the KFL knew what the KFL was. The KFL was the Kentucky Football League, who accepted some teams from Southern Indiana, if you want to consider that the Bucks, and a Tennessee team in the Rampage. But for the most part, they stayed 6. I think one year they tried to be 8, but they knew 6 was where it was at. The MSFA came out the gate with the second year, they had 24 teams. The beginning of last year, they had 24 teams. The GDFL struggles with 24 teams. Ask Jermaine Campbell how easy it is for him to juggle 24 teams in the PAFL. And then this regime is going to try to juggle 24 teams, and I think 8 of them was brand new. You're setting yourself up to fail. If you come around the Kentucky area, let me just give some secrets. This is from what I've observed, and I could be way wrong. Like I said, I made a little post about this. If you come into this area and you want a team, keep it small. 6 teams is perfect. Everybody gets to play everybody twice. There's 5 games. There's 10 games, 5 other teams you face. Everybody plays everybody twice, home and away. All 6 teams make the playoffs, so you don't have to worry about somebody giving up down the stretch. Stay small. Don't go too big. You get a true playoff picture, 1 through 6. Also, be smart. Be realistic. If a city's giving you 2 teams, don't take a third.
Yeah.
That's going to set you up. Also, as much as players don't want to hear this, as much as people's probably going to argue about this, be smart. Don't go get the Middle Tennessee Bulldogs. Don't get the Marion County Crusaders. Don't get the King Comets. Don't get the Cincinnati Chiefs. Don't get the teams that are going to come in and just run through. Get teams that are somewhat competitive with each other. Now, you can't always guarantee that, but don't go out there proving and grab up a team. So like if a team starts and then there's Marion County Crusaders, that's Marion County's to win. If the Middle Tennessee Bulldogs start up a league, start up a summer league, guess whose league that is to win? Guys aren't going to want to play like that. I don't care what anyone says. Guys want to try to want a chance to win a ring, and they're going to do whatever it takes, play in whatever level of league, whatever. On another thing, I don't like the players can just sign up on every other roster. Like if I start the season out, I can sign up on 10 rosters. I'm not getting into that because I don't have time to defend it. I don't feel like defending it. But I just sign wherever. I'm on with every league. I mean, literally, you could do that. You could be, in theory, signed with the Spartans of the MSFA. You could be signed with the Comets in the BCFL. You could be signed with the Chiefs. You could be signed with the Red Dragons in the GDFL, and you just ride out and see which one ever fits your boat. I'm not a fan of that, but you can't. It's hard. It's hard to keep up with that. All right, into the MSFA. That's my soapbox for the day. On to the MSFA. MSFA last week gave us there were supposed to be 3 games. The Colts folded the day before on the hurricane. My only problem with why you folded on the day before, and I heard it was some in-house stuff that I'm not going to put on the air. I heard it was some personal stuff. But if you fold, look, you knew what you were Monday, you knew what you were Tuesday, you knew what you were Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's not like you were a team that hoped to have 30 and then you realized you only had 15 or only had 12. You knew you was about 10 to 12 deep every day last week. Why wait till Friday? So then what you're going to do is just like any owner would do, you're going to say, okay, I'm turning this, especially as we get close to the playoffs, you're saying I'm turning this into the commissioner. I'm just calling it a day. And then you come back 12 hours later with faces we have not heard from involved in this organization saying, hey, we got this now. I don't, I'm not one to go on record and root for the Canes, but I don't blame them for not playing that game. Sounded pretty shady to me when the known owner tells you, hey, we're done, and then some strange faces come up and say, no, we're back on this. No, shut that down. Because I just don't see how legitimate that is.
Let me chime in here. The old Colts owner, I don't know if he's still a current owner or whatever, he says numbers wasn't the issue. Numbers was the issue. You had 10 players.
Well, like I said, I heard there were some personal things behind it that I'm not going to put on air with the man's personal life. And there was just some frustrations there, so I can't blame him. But it was just the new regime that came riding in that was like expecting it all to be forgotten. Look, dude, it's the Colts organization. You can put Jerry Jones as the owner, but with the roster locked, you're stuck with what you're stuck with. So that game didn't happen. Supposedly there was Fury Wolfpack. Fury won 6-0. I'm not sure if that's a forfeit win or if that game actually happened. The game that no one knew occurred. When I saw the score, I said, "Oh well, there's a forfeit win," and then there was some pictures, and I was like, "Oh wow, that game actually happened." Nobody knew. So now we're going to talk about the only game that I was aware that happened. The Kentuckiana Cavalry taking on the not-so-fast-folded Tri-State Titans. Or the Kentuckiana Cavalry taking on the Tri-State Titans. Titans shocked me. I thought they were done. They showed up with about 13 guys. Had the little scuffle beforehand, whatever. That motivated. Let me take a hat off, a round of applause, whatever you want to say, to Michael Scott. This man somehow became the best receiver in the league. I think he had 8 catches. The best catch I seen, maybe the best catch I seen, didn't even count because it was a hold. He laid out. This is a defensive end. This is a guy who plays DN, and he laid out for a beautiful grab. He went up on another play that did count and took it from 2 defenders and said, that's mine. Michael Scott wanted to win that game. He did everything he could to win that game. Game comes out. It's looking rough. Titans don't have numbers. But I had faith that the Titans were going to win because they did have Eric Washington and Michael Scott, guys who have known to win, or at least know how to close out a game. The game was sloppy. Nobody had a true quarterback. Eric Washington pounds it in for about a 3-yard run after a great catch on 4th and forever by Mike Scott. And it was one of those carries by Eric that you knew he was going to find the end zone. He was just running higher. He was running different. He had the ball tucked in different. He dove into the end zone different. I mean, there was a difference between carrying the ball at the 50 because he's an older player. He was playing both ways. But when he was on that 3-yard line or 2-yard line, he knew he was getting in. Titans go up 6-0. I thought the game's over. Then the Cavalry end up finding their way in the end zone. It was all haze. I'm not real sure how they scored. Tied up 6-6. Goes into overtime. I'm thinking this is it. Titans have this. Because basically all they're playing for now is that right to not play Canes/Spartans. If you get that 5th seed, you get to go to the Fury. The Fury are so unreliable. Who knows? That might be an automatic win. That's what you're playing for. Goes into overtime. I'm thinking this is the Titans to lose. Me and some other players on the sideline was talking. I was predicting 12-6. Titans are going to find a way to win it. Then a fumble occurred. Then they give the ball to Jermaine Quisenberry. That man at the MSFA level is a beast. Probably the top running back in the league, to be honest with you. Takes it, almost gone. Somebody drags him down by the jersey. A penalty, get the ball on the 1-yard line. They QB sneak. The quarterback quit on him. Their quarterback they had, he quit. He was getting some flack from his team, couldn't make anybody happen. He quit. They go to the backup. Backup gets a quarterback sneak. I don't know how you feel about that one. Like I said, guys, sorry. Not feeling well. Been trying to shake it, trying to get it done by this weekend. So the game was actually really good. A game that I actually did not think would occur. I thought the Cavs traveled a little light, or they were at home. The Travs were a little lighter than normal. The Titans were super light. I think they had 13, trading just any position they can. It ended up getting to them. They had that game won. If they could have found a way to get in that end zone, they had that game won. But once the Cavs got the ball, Quisenberry took that long run, they were gassed. The hands on the hips, they were done. Good game, though. Hey, good game. Moving on to this week. This week, I don't know what games are going on in the MSFA. I don't care. Because no game is going to live up to the hype of 8-4 of the regular season. Now, I've been on record, this game does not matter. And this game still does not matter as far as standing goes. But pride is on the line, and in semi-pro, that's really what we're playing for. 8-4 in the MSFA is Canes hosting the Spartans. And I wake up every morning and I say, who's going to win? I don't know. I look at that Canes roster. It is deep. But then again, it's not playoffs yet. But then again, it's at home. So look at the Spartans. Are the Spartans going to travel? Do the Spartans want to travel? Do the Spartans want to play this game? It really has no meaning. 1-3, yeah, so-and-so, whatever. There's not really anyone in this league that scares me. Especially, I thought the Titans might be, if they can get back together, they might be able to pull an upset. But being 13 deep, I'm just not worried about them right now. Airborne, maybe, but the way they got handled by the Spartans and the Canes, I'm not really worried about it, even if they get to host one of the two. So, do the Spartans, are they feeling as urgent? I look at this. I look at the Canes have a monster O-line. The Spartans have a good O-line, too, for what they do. Running backs. Man, number 2, I think his name's Amin, for the Spartans. Really good running back. Canes got a whole group of them, too. Vashawn Banks out there. Rajay Britton. Dexter Collier. D'Lo, if they give him the rock on the offense. I know he's playing that defensive side, too. And that's just the guys I know. I know they still got Rico Neal. They got guys. If they can get a rhythm going, that's going to be tough to stop. Receivers, both teams. I can name you a list of receivers. Canes, T-Ray, Daz, Quick, Arnie at tight end. The Spartans, I don't know their names as much. Brooks, number 12, number 5, Basham. They got some promise too. The difference, there's going to be a couple different. The secondary, I think the Spartans have one of the best secondaries in the league. Canes secondary, they're not too shabby either. The difference is going to come. The Canes, in my opinion, are head and shoulders better at the front 4. Their front line, versus the Spartans front line. I do like Kentrell for the Spartans, but you got Big Mike, you got Joe Elder, you got Nick Harper. That's just the guys that I know off the top of my head. I'm sure they're going to find some other guys elsewhere that just make it happen. That linebacking core. Spartans got some nice linebackers, but they're just they're more of a finesse, wrap you up, pick you off kind of linebackers. Canes here, they're here to knock you out. And I mean no negative disrespect or no shade on that. They're here to put a hurt on you. If you go across that middle, they want you to regret that. I look at everything. Everything's about equal. The only thing that isn't even really, in my opinion, isn't close on that is that front four. And that's just because I think the Canes got that depth. Everything else I look at and I say it's equal. Except for that front four, or I guess the Spartans are in a three. The front line. And quarterback. Now the quarterback tells two different stories. You got Evan Harvey, he's a finesse pocket passer. But how's he going to be when that first hit comes? How's he going to handle when they bring 7, they bring 8? He gets a little rattled. Maybe it comes a little after the play. I'm not saying dirty. I'm not saying any kind of, I know we had the conversation with Bounty. I'm not saying that, but maybe sometimes flags are worth it. Sometimes you send a little shot to a player, you send a little shot to a quarterback, maybe a kicker. You get that flag, but that 15-yard penalty is worth the message you just sent. Like I said, it's nothing dirty. Just sending that message. How does he react? On the other side, you got Corker. Corker, not so much a pocket passer. Different skill set. Scrambles, likes to get out of the pocket. But man, I don't know if there's too many other quarterbacks I would take with a minute left tie game. Heard Michael Thomas is playing. Michael Thomas, he's not proven, but you put him in on a drive, he gets you a 60-yard bomb going into half. 30 seconds left, you got the ball on the 20, 80 yards to go to half. Maybe he gets you something. Maybe he slings it up, get a pass interference. This game, to me, is going to come down to the quarterback play. I heard a lot of talk when I was at that game. Who do you think it's this? Who do you think's that? Evan's going to get hit. So we're going to start with Evan. Evan's going to get hit. How does he react? If Evan gets just plastered, if he gets up and throws a touchdown, Spartans might just open this one up and run away with it. If Evan gets plastered, he comes out and his passes aren't there. He's got to feel rushed. He's just not there mentally. He throws an interception. This could be a long one for the Spartans. Same goes for the Canes. There was a lot of talk. Who matches up? You got Big T-Ray and then you got Quick Daz on the other side. How do you match those up? Well, I'll be honest with you. I told Corker this, and it comes down to him. You let them beat you deep and hope that the pass is underthrown, and you pick them off. If the pass is underthrown and you pick them off, it's going to be a good day for the Spartans. But let me tell you, if Corker's feeling it, if that ball is flying, if that's some good weather out there, and you get beat, it's a whole different game. So I think it comes down to quarterback play. Who can play their game the longest, the easiest, the most efficient. Now, if they both are hitting, it might be a fun one. It's going to be a real fun. It's going to be a fun one no matter what. But if they're both hitting on all strides, I still don't know who I got winning. I mean, I think the Canes are going to eventually pull that one out. I don't know how it's going to happen.
I feel it is whoever gets a 12-point lead first. Like whoever gets a 12-point lead first, the other team is going to take their foot off the gas and save their bodies, prepare for the playoffs.
I think the 12-point is a good point. I just don't know if the 12 points going to jump out like that. What I could see happening is the Canes jumping out, getting an early drive, being hyped, catching that defense, smash mouth, getting an early drive, the game kind of simmering down. Apparently, both teams have kickers now, and I keep hearing argument who kicker's better, and I've not seen any of them really kick.
Who cares who's the best one? It's who uses them the best.
So, I think the Canes jump out early. I think it's pretty quiet. I think the Spartans get something to tie it up at half. I think it's going to be a mistake. It's going to be a blown coverage, a bad snap, a bad punt. It's going to be something. They're going to get a cheap score. And it's going to make halftime just make you forget about it all. I think the Spartans are going to take a lead in the third quarter. But I just think something's going to happen in that fourth quarter that's going to let the Canes put it away. That home field, that defense, that blitz mentality. I got the Canes winning 20-14. I tried to give you a how. I don't know anything more on that. But I'm calling it right now. Last prediction. River City Hurricanes 20. Kentucky Spartans 14.
And I think you're right because it matters more to the Canes because they don't want to travel.
Well, it don't really, from my understanding, it has no effect on anything because these two are only going to meet in the championship, which is in Jeff.
Well, but somebody has to travel to Airborne in the second round.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's true. And I think the Spartans are okay with it either way.
Yeah. I feel the game is more important.
Yeah, I get what you're saying now. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. BCFL. Not a lot of games last week either. The BCFL playoffs, I got to talk about that one a little bit as well. The BCFL playoffs, I feel like everybody's griping now because life didn't go status quo. We've all seen those memes on Facebook that says if somebody dies and they're supposed to die, no one says anything. But if someone dies who's not supposed to, everybody loses their mind. And that's true. But it also happens in semi-pro. If the playoff bracket was like we all talked, no one will be saying a word about, so-and-so only played one time, or, half this division's folded, or all of this division did fold if you're the Crusaders. But when things don't go as planned, now people want answers. I guarantee you, and I'm not saying anything, I like the Comets. I think they're really clicking right now. But when the Comets started the season and they looked and they said, we only played the Dukes once, they didn't ever think, they couldn't even fathom that would have a negative impact on their schedule, on their season. Until you lose. Until the unpredictable happens. Until the unexpected happens. You lose 6-0. Now you're like, we only play those once, that's unfair. Didn't have a problem with the season started. Shouldn't have a problem with it now. It just cracks me up when the playoffs get here, people's inability to understand how playoffs work. If your league has divisions and you say, hey, I crucified the MSFA for their change, I didn't like the GDFL for their change, you just got to roll with it. You've done messed up. You done made your bed. Now, if every team in a division folded, I understood. But it's not Marion County's fault. It's not Marion County's fault that division folded. I know it looks silly. Like I said, I can't see nothing, so I'm pointing up real close. Game that happened. That Tanks Comets game was a good one. First off, so from my understanding, the Tanks jumped out early, played really solid first half. Comets got a big score, and then in the second half, the Tanks or the Comets were able to what looked like a big, huge, crazy fourth down catch, take a 14-13 lead. I think it's a tale of one team is really hot, moving in one direction. Another team has already peaked. They're still a solid team. They're going to make a run in the playoffs. But they had to travel. I don't know how far Portsmouth is from Cincinnati. I can't imagine it was close. The most entertaining thing about that game, though, it was a good game. I enjoyed watching it. But the Tanks broadcasters, look, I am far, far from the best at this. I've got so much to learn and so much work to do. And they weren't bad. I'm not making anything negative. But it was so entertaining because two things were very obvious very, very early. One, they were Tanks fans. They were clearly Tanks fans. That's fine. But two, Mike, they had no faith. They were just Debbie Downers from the get-go. So let me paint you a picture, Mike. Fourth quarter, Comets up 14-13. 6 minutes left in the game. You're down 1 point with 6 minutes left in the game. From my understanding, still had all 3 timeouts.
Good game.
These announcers were so doom and gloom, they thought, this is the last chance. One of them even resorted to using the line, "Oh, poo," when something happened. Like he just said, like it just cracked me up. Like everything was end of the world, and it worked both ways. Dude come out, throw a completion. Well, yeah, there we are. We're moving in the right direction. Incomplete pass. Oh, poo. That game's over. Like it was that way for the whole fourth quarter. And I get it. When you're that passionate about something, when you're that dedicated to the team, there's no higher high and there's no lower lows. I get it. But it was just so entertaining that these guys, they thought it was done when there was still plenty of time. Now, one thing I did see, the quarterback for the Tanks, both of them, they tried to get it all in one play. They probably could have competed and beat the Comets if they would just stayed with it. But it seemed like every play, they ran the ball 2 times in the second half. Every play tried to heave down the field.
That seems like poor
Interception.
coaching.
What?
That seems like poor coaching to me.
Now, which I learned, I've been pronouncing the quarterback's name. His name's J-O-B, Swords. I call him Job Sword. No one ever corrected me. Watching the show, his name's Job. Fair enough. I had a lot of faith in the man. And apparently, based on his stats, first half, he was hot. But I think he finished 10 for 24. And in the second half, I only think he completed 2 passes. And I saw a whole lot of incompletions. And I saw a whole lot of interceptions because he wanted all 80 yards in one play. They go to their backup. His name's Duke. First play. Rolls out. Has all the time. Has a man to check down to. Slings it. Intercepted.
And isn't he supposed to be the more talented of the two from what everybody's saying?
Rumor has it. From what I saw one play. They both look about the same. Out there slinging it 70 yards, and they got picked off. The Comets, they played good. Good, nice mobile quarterback. Solid run game. Found some open receivers. They seemed composed. They seemed, like I said, they seemed ready to make a run. So the playoffs are set there. Number 1 seed is the Crusaders. They called it. Championship goes through Indy. That's going to be tough. Number 2 seed. Shock, surprise. This is where the controversy comes from. Dukes are the number 2 seed. I didn't see that coming.
No.
Number 3 seed are your Tanks. Number 4 seed, King Comets. 5 seed, the dwindling Columbus Gladiators. And the 6th seed, the Tri-State Saints. Hanging on, the New Coats. They are with the coats folded, they are the New Coats. So that leaves the Saints have to travel to the Tanks. That's probably going to be a heck of a drive. I got the Tanks winning easily. I think they got to get rid of that. They got a bad taste they got to get rid of. They're trying to find their niche. They're trying to find what quarterback they're going with. The Saints, they're just playing for fun right now.
Maybe they'll pick up some Colts players.
They're not allowed.
They can't.
Slash said no bueno, so that's not a no-go. Got the Tanks winning. I think the Tanks will jump out 20-0 into the first quarter.
Coast.
30-0 at half. And then probably win 40-6. They might give up something. Other game, Comets Glads. We just saw this a little while ago. Except that happened in Columbus. Now I know we've talked Columbus and Cincinnati is not that far. I'm just the Cincinnati, the King Comets. Hey, they're the hottest team out right now in one of the hottest teams in the BCFL right now. Gladiators, other direction. They're Movie Pass. If you don't know what Movie Pass is, look it up. It's a company that went too big, too quick, and they're struggling now. They're Movie Pass. King Comets are Apple. Apple stocks are gold. Apple stocks, they're just hot. Even if you buy one, they struggle. Don't give up on them. That's King Comets right now. I actually don't think this game lasts. I don't think this game gets completed. I think Comets come out so fast, so early, so aggressive. Columbus realizes at halftime their season's over. Some kind of semi-pro shenanigans happen. This game gets called. So we're going to recap. I got the score. I got the Tanks beating the Saints 40-6. Tanks beating the Saints 40-6. And I got the Comets beating the Gladiators. I'll go 50-8. It probably won't be called at half. But 50. Still going 50-8. We'll talk more about the playoffs next week as we dive into as everything heats up in every area. Going to do a little quick pit stop at the GDFL. GDFL is sitting nice right now. Championship game, I called it. Oklahoma Thunder, Middle Tennessee Bulldogs.
Matt, just go ahead and give yourself a pat on the back right now. Those are great picks.
I will.
Those are great picks.
And don't, there was somebody, I'm not going to put no name on it, the day before the game said Oklahoma Outlaws got their number. They got their good players. They took other players. They got their number. They're going to do it. I said, no, it's tough to do it 3 times. Tough to do. And then afterwards, the guy tried to tell me, buddy, we called it. No. You flip-flopped and couldn't make a decision. Yeah, get out of here. I've ridden that pick since day one. So I didn't watch as much of the Thunder Outlaws game. The camera angle just wasn't that great. The production wasn't really up there. But it looked like the Thunder's just doing what the Thunder team does. Hey, it's playoffs. You can't compete with us. They jumped out 7-0. The Outlaws had a chance to kick a field goal to get a 3-point. It got blocked. They went up 14-0. They win 20-0. One thing I will say, though, heard the quarterback got hurt. I don't know how effective he is. I know he's a pretty solid quarterback. I watched him play against the Chattanooga Eagles last year. Quarterback's hurt, though. See what kind of impact that has. Other game. Pat myself on the back again. Even though I did question myself a little bit. Bulldogs go to Erie, still get the win. That impressed me. Erie was in my inbox, Mike, like I don't know what. Make sure you watch that game, they said. Make sure you see us one guy even said, make sure you see us take down the unbeatable Dogs. So I watched. And then I heard that the Bulldogs traveled light. And I got nervous. And then I heard that Zachary Ducker didn't go, the quarterback. And I got real nervous. And then I turned on the game. And opening kickoff, dude was gone. Yes, he was not out of bounds. Yes, he should have scored. He was gone. I don't put much stock in that, though, because they scored on that drive. But, boy, did they score easy. And I was real nervous. 7-0. Dogs come out on offense. Got their third, fourth string quarterback, whatever you want to call him. Didn't look good. Erie gets the ball again, moving it. I'm nervous, Mike, let me tell you. Because I did not want to. When you take a hard stance about anything, and I took one of these teams that Erie Express was the third best team at least, maybe even fourth behind the Thunder and fifth behind the Outlaws. But I was standing firm that they were behind the Rockets, behind the Bulldogs. I was not ready for the crow. I was about to have to eat. And then it changed. Now, yes, the game was over 14-7. But I'm telling you, that game just didn't look like it. That game the Bulldogs were close to scoring several times. Made some mistakes because they had some backup players there. They were down there once. Clifford Lett coming in, like I said, I think he's about the third best quarterback on that roster. He struggled. He cost them some yardage. That number 36, big old dude for the Express, he was just coming in there and cleaning house. Cost him some yards. I was a little concerned about him. Erie really didn't do much. Erie really didn't get going. I thought the quarterback, Hannah, threw it to Rowan more times than he should. He wanted to get that dude the ball. I don't know much about it. It's the only game I really watched of Erie. I don't know. Maybe that's their bread and butter, and who gets away from that in a championship game.
Yeah, and just judging by their last two games, like I kind of felt like they couldn't put together a full game. They could play a half a ball and then a half here, but they couldn't do a full game.
That's a good point.
So,
but I don't even feel. I feel like it was a 55 or 60% of a game, because you take away that first drive, I really didn't feel threatened by Erie that much. I just didn't know if the Dogs could get in the end zone.
If they could get out of their head too. I mean, they
so
seemed
Raheem
kind of
Muhammad,
shell-shocked a little bit.
Raheem Muhammad, especially in that end zone, he was like a shark with blood in the water. That first one, he got his way in there easily. Then comes the drive late in the game, and this is where Clifford Lett played like I hadn't seen him play since except for when I watched him play with the Raiders against probably a much less opponent. Had a great pass over the middle, which, let me say, you can disagree with all this all you want. That middle was open. Hit a great pass over the middle. Maybe I'm first. It was like a third or fourth down play. had another big long run. I won't say big long, but an impressive run that set them up real nice. Then he got injured. Then they put Bebe in, Randall Smith, and he had a nice run. I thought they were going to score on that drive and put it away. They fumbled, I think, turned the ball over. Get the ball again. Raheem, like again, shark, blood in the water, found a way in the end zone. The refs looked like they were going to try to give Erie some breathing room. I know there was a lot of, if you watch the Erie newscast, there was a lot of, hey, he didn't step out on the first drive, and he put the ball down, but he gave himself up at the end of the game. Mainly I'm talking to people who knew what I'm talking about. If you don't watch the game, you're probably a little lost right now. But they gave him some questionable penalties, a rough in the pass play that I didn't see. I can't say it didn't happen, but the cameraman sure didn't show us. But it didn't matter. Bulldogs picked off the ball, gave himself up. Erie player tried to take it in for the score. Didn't matter. Bulldogs, that right there impressed me the most. The fact that you went on there with the third string quarterback. I actually think if Ducker had been there, this game's 34-7, 35-7. I don't think they were stopping that first drive because Erie was on a mission, but that middle and some of those passing areas were just so open that, and props off to Let, starting linebacker, comes to starting quarterback in a big game on the road. He made it work. Question is, next week, 2 hours away, is Ducker back? Do you start Ducker? Do you go with Let? Ducker got you there all season. Let got you there last week. Who do you go with?
Easy question, the starter. Or easy answer.
Yeah. Thunder's got the bigger drive again. Did a quick little Google. Nashville's about 2.5 hours away from Birmingham. Oklahoma's about 10 hours.
Nice little day trip.
We'll talk about that next week.
They don't play this week? They have a week off?
The 11th, yeah. All right, PAFL. Tier 1. Hey, Tier 1, I'm not talking about it much. I think the Fire's got that one in the bag. Fire hosting the Rangers. I think the Fire's win big. There's even jokes of the Rangers going to show. I got Fire 56-0. The game that never gets any hype ever. I don't know who's promoting. I don't know who's behind these organizations. They don't talk on any pages. I don't know what's going on. Detroit Seminoles, Southern Michigan Timberwolves. Game just happened a couple weeks ago. I got Detroit winning. I don't know, 21-0, 21-7, something like that. Then we got the Ohio Raiders taking on the WPA Wildcats. Ohio Raiders, they get back. They get Hannah. I don't know if is Rowan going there. Now apparently I thought this was going to be potential big news, but I heard Hannah played last time they played WPA and it didn't make a difference. I think WPA is just too tough. I think it's close early, maybe even 14-12, 14-14 at halftime. WPA pulls out. I'm going to say 28-14. NEO Predators, Lorain County Nightmare. I think Predators win pretty easy. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to take that back. I hate to take that back so quick, but I think Lorain County is getting better on on paper. They just look. I think they can score some points, but I still think Predators win pretty easily. Tier 2. So this is going to be pretty quick because the PAFL didn't play at all last week, from my understanding. Getting ready for the playoffs. Trash talk's heating up. This is going to be fun moving forward, talk about these leagues. One thing I did find interesting about Tier 2, though, from the talks of things, even though there's a 16-team bracket and it looks pretty cut and dry that, you win, you move on, apparently, Mike, they're going to reseed, or I don't know about reseed, but they're going to do shuffle after the first round.
So, highest seed plays the lowest seed?
Yeah. For example, if the 15 seed, or I guess the 8 seed beats a 1 seed,
yeah,
they would then go play a 2 seed. So and from my understanding, if an 8 team was going to win it, they would have to beat number 1, number 2, number 3, then number 4. They wouldn't luck out like NCAA bracket style.
That's crazy.
I mean, I guess as a Kentucky fan, you kind of like it, because I'm thinking college basketball, you always want to play the easiest route. So I guess if you're a 1 seed, you always want to try to play that easiest route. But it's very interesting.
Yeah, but then it's kind of like a preparation thing. Like how do you prepare for the next week if you really don't know?
Yeah, I mean, in semi-pro, it's going to be tough to.
Well, yeah,
I mean, it's going to be tough to prepare, and you really wouldn't. I mean, you're going to know if you just pay attention.
Yeah.
I imagine you're going to know by the end of Saturday night So, and it'd be kind of foolish for, like, example, the Spartans to start preparing for that next round game, even though, you're pretty confident you're going to win.
Yeah, but then it kind of comes into play, like, say that 8 seed does beat the number 1 seed, and then they match up better against the 4 seed, which they would, it would in theory play the second round. But then they got to play the second base team, and they don't match up well, and they get blown out.
For you beer pong fans, it's called a re-rack.
Yeah, but it's.
All right, so moving on, tier 2.
I don't think I like that.
It'd be interesting. I don't know if this has been done before. Not too many teams in semi-pro allow 16-team playoffs. Even the GDFL only had a 12-team playoff.
Well, they have
and 12-team is pretty cut and dry like that because the 1 and 2 have the bye.
Yeah.
So just kind of looking through this, we got the Stars Conference. Strabane Spartans hosting the Westmoreland Wolves. I think the Wolves are kind of starting to click here late, maybe.
They hitting their stride.
Is their quarterback back? I think Strabane's too good. 24-7 type of game. 3 touchdowns type. Canton Pit Bulls taking on the Pitt Saints. I'm not hearing anything about this quarterback. I think their quarterback's still out. Now, I also heard that Canton gets some players from Erie. Do they come in and slide right in? Do they gel nicely? I think Canton wins fairly easily. Depending on who they pick up, depending on that quarterback situation, they may not win by a lot, which I don't know how telling that is.
Well, the Erie quarterback was coming over to Canton, wasn't it?
No, he's going to the Ohio Raiders.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. Erie had a lot of nice players. Erie had a lot of big men. Erie has a lot of beast on defense, especially that front 7. What type of what guys does that carry over? Canton still wins big, maybe not as big as they should, based on current roster situation. Legends at Storm at the Summit County Storm at the Legends. I'm telling you, this is kind of a boring sounding game. I know really nothing about those two teams, and those two teams seem to be fine with that. I think the Storm keep it close, but I think the Legends know how to win. I think it's like 12-6. 14-6 kind of win. Last game in that matchup, Rams and the Silverback. Rams lost to the Wolves, set themselves in this situation. They're a 4 seed now. Lost that 3 seed. I think it comes back to bite them. I think they're playing one of the hotter teams. I think the Silverback upset. 18-6, 20-7 type of score.
So you had the Silverbacks losing?
No, I got Silverbacks beating the Rams.
Oh, okay.
Silverbacks the 5th seed, Rams the 4 seed. Rams should have been the 3 seed, but they lost to the Wolves. I think that loss comes back to bite them right here.
Is the 5-4 seed really upset, though?
I mean, yeah, not really.
Yeah, no. I'm just trying to get you to prove a point there.
Moving on to the Stripes Conference. Hurricanes at the Crusaders. Said this last week. Hurricanes had something to prove, had to win by 53. They did that, plus some. I don't think that point doesn't need to be made. I still think they win by 40. War Eagles at the Rage. War Eagles are undefeated in tier play. Rage struggled. I think this game's going to be fairly close. I still think the War Eagles win by a couple touchdowns, though. Score may not be indicative of how close it actually is. They may get some. It may be 14-6 going into the 4th with the chance for the Rage to tie. And then the War Eagles maybe get a pick 6 or something, taking it back, and win by a couple. But I think the clock on the War Eagles clock is ticking down. Chiefs at Polar Bear, or Polar Bears at Chiefs. Chiefs is one of those teams I cannot bet against. I think the Chiefs win easily.
Yeah, they kind of remind me of the Oklahoma Thunder. You can't go against history type thing.
Right. Broncos Hornets. That's a toss up. Hornets only won 8-0 last time. How's the Hornets offense? They still got Jalen Marshall. Is that his name, the receiver? What's that defense going to do? Butler County, you've kind of stayed status quo. You won the games you should have. You lost the ones we thought you would. You didn't let us down, but you didn't really shock us either. This is your chance. I still got the Hornets winning close. Moving on. So the only really upsets I have are the 5 seeds over the 4 seeds, so I don't think there will be really much of a realignment. But it'll be interesting to see. I just don't think that 6 and 7 and 8 teams are going to beat those 1, 2, 3s.
No, and I agree with you. So, are they going to re-rack in the second round then too, and the re-rack in every round?
They only do it for one round.
They do it one round. Okay. So basically, they're trying to get the 1 and number 2 seeds in the championship game. What it sounds like.
I mean, I get it. Now I know we're not talking Tier 2, you didn't have Tier 1 or PAFL. You didn't do much last week, so I'm not going to talk about you a lot. But I'm going to be all in. I want to find out this playoffs. If you guys broadcast any of these games, I got to see a lot last week. I got to watch the game in my backyard, Cavs Titans. Went home, watched Dogs Express. Flipped on Kings Comets or Comets Tanks. And then I wrapped up Thunder Outlaws. Anybody else do that? Let me know. I felt like just watching Sunday. I know NFL's coming back, Mike.
Tomorrow.
I'm talking about the real NFL. I'm excited about it, but I'm talking about real. That made me feel like it. You just catching games after games. It's all stockpiling. Tier 3. We're diving right in there in Tier 3. You got the Mon Valley Sabres taking on the Pitt East Storm. I think the Sabres win by 20. Win by 30. I think they're hitting pretty good stride. Tri-County Phoenix, Rivers, MV Rough Riders. Rough Riders, you're talking a lot, but you're struggling a little bit. Mm-hmm. I don't think it matters. I think y'all win by a couple touchdowns as well. Moving on to the more interesting bracket. Southern Ohio Blaze, River City Buccaneers. Everybody keeps telling me the Blaze don't have anything. I don't believe it. Record says otherwise. River City, you concerned me a little bit. You had a chance to go in there and compete with the West Virginia Storm, kind of prove a little bit. You got blasted. Got blasted pretty bad too. I don't think it's close. 34-6, 28-0, something along those lines. Southern Ohio wins. The game that is getting a lot of enters. West Virginia Storm versus the Lima Warriors. Lima has to travel to West Virginia. That is a long drive. How's that travel going to do? How's that depth going to be? Lima's talking, though. Lima's got an offensive player who was too aggressive. This little guy, he's little. Offensive, he's too aggressive to play line. He went to defense in college. He went to some small college I've never heard of. He's here to play, though, according to him. Billy Coe, are you going to get caught looking ahead? Are you going to get caught peeping? Are you going to get caught peeping towards Christmas, or are you going to enjoy Thanksgiving? Don't get caught. You've been talking a lot. I got faith in you getting past this one. Don't get caught, though. Don't let this little buddy. Apparently, they got a quarterback named Nico. Is he playing? I hear he's nice. I don't know much about him. I want to see him. I want to see that game. I want to see what Billy Coe's got. The only time I attempted to watch the West Virginia Storm, they got slapped by the Tanks. But I got West Virginia winning this one. Not going to put a score on it, because every time I do, Billy Coe usually tries to match that. So that's what we got. Next week, we're winding down. Next week, I'll have more answers for you. MSFA will be clear. That playoff's getting ready to start. Next week, we might play a game called Who's Lucci Playing For This Week? Never know. MSFA winding down. Next week, playoffs getting started. That picture will be a lot clearer. Like I said, this game doesn't matter, but this game will tell me a lot. Canes versus Spartans. I can't wait. BCFL, we'll get down to the meat of the playoffs. Everything goes through Indy. GDFL, we're going to be talking a lot. Dogs, Thunder is the only thing to talk about next week in the GDFL. PAFL, you'll give us something to talk about. You'll give us something to recap. Had the week off. Talk got churning it up. Tier 1. Is anything going to shock me? Is there going to be anything changed? I don't think so. I think it's going to be cut and dry 4 teams. Tier 2, what's the re-rack? What's the shuffle going to look like? That's going to heat up. I can't wait. And Tier 3, is there any chance of an upset, or is this story written itself? I'm excited. Mike, what are you looking forward to this week?
I definitely want to catch that Dogs Thunder championship game. I think that's going to be one of the best games of the year, up there with the Huntsville Rockets game as well.
Scott Wallace, Bulldogs GM. Please tell me that's going to be aired. I got to watch it August 11th. Everybody else will be in some mid-round playoffs. That's a beautiful championship game. I don't know if there's going to be anything that's going to even compete with that one. We'll talk that one next week. But everything else, guys, let me know. I'm going to be at the Canes Spartans game. I'm trying to get out there and do a little pre-game, a little post-game show, kind of like a little college game day action, get us ready for some college football. But BCFL, Tanks, are you going to be airing that game? I want to see it. Kings, are you airing that game? Or King Comets, are you airing that game? I want to see it. Canton, what do you got for me? I know the PAFL does a good thing. Please tell me that Dayton Hornets BCB game is going to be broadcasted somewhere. I want to watch it.
That'll be another good
Even
game
if
to
you
watch.
record it and don't air it live, and I can sit back and watch it again that evening, I'm down. As the teams start to dwindle down, the teams we talk about is going to come less and less. I don't want to be talking off hearsay. I want to watch a game. I want to get a good feedback on it.
Give us some stats.
All right, guys. We are going to be cutting it short today, but next week we're back. Playoffs. Can't wait. Like I said, hit us up. Send us things. We're out.